All right, welcome to Head Kick Audio. I've got the pleasure of speaking with Joe Sanderson, who's going to be competing at Sparta Army versus Marines 12. This takes place on June 26th over at the Outlaw Saloon in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And you're going to be competing for the 153 AMI Muay Thai title over there, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and what is the weight class for 153? What is it called? Super welterweight, something like that?
Honestly, I'm not actually sure. I think it changes across multiple organizations. It's always somewhere around 70 kilos. Sometimes in kickboxing you hear lightweight, but I'm not sure what Sparta's actually classifying it as.
Either way, it's still some gold. So
yeah, that's.
You're 5-0 overall as an amateur. 3 knockouts, 2 decisions. You were telling me all of your knockouts are due to knees to the body.
Yeah.
Is that something you throw a lot in the gym?
Yeah, I mean, something that just kind of clicked early with me. I think my first fight, my first round, I was getting smashed. I was getting boxed up. The boxing has never been. I mean, it's something I work on a lot now. But my first fight, I was getting tuned up, and as I went into the second round, I was just getting sick of it. So I started kind of clinching up and entering the clinch, and I had a lot of success right out of the bat. And after winning the fight, my head coach kind of said, "Hey, you kind of default to this, huh?" And I said, "I think I do." So we just started training that specifically, a lot of clinch work, a lot of knees, and that's been kind of the MO since.
Okay, well, it's some of the more grueling and difficult and energy-sapping parts of combat sports is the grappling, and this is Muay Thai's version of grappling, is in the clinch, up against the cage, the ropes, wherever you're competing. I mean, it takes a lot out of you. So for you to find success in that tells me that you got a fucking gas tank, right?
I guess, honestly, it's weird. In the clinch, I find that sometimes I'm the most relaxed, and I can feel myself kind of catching a breather sometimes, and just kind of letting people carry my weight and hang on them. Yeah, I don't know. I think in Thailand, the clinch is the calmer you are, the more you can feel what's going on, and you can kind of react to what's happening. If you're super tense and just trying to muscle your way around, you end up getting swept a lot or controlled. So the more relaxed I am, the more comfortable I am, and I think that leads to being able to extend that over a whole fight and continue to do that.
Well, and being calm, especially in places like the clinch, you can see everything coming.
Yeah, you can feel someone's body. You can feel that leg coming up to throw a knee. I can kind of sense what's happening, and I try to manipulate the balance a little bit and just kind of stay on people, make them carry me around.
Okay, and if you don't mind me asking, how tall are you?
I'm 5'11".
You're 5'11", so you're a little tall for 153 pounds.
Yeah, it depends. I thought so, and then the last couple of guys I fought were huge. So they said it was like it would say it was 5'10", and then it'd be like I'd be looking up at them in the weigh-in and be like, "Oh man."
Yeah, sometimes it happens. When they're building the tail of the tape, I think sometimes they just have a little fun with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get into talking about this fight with Herberto Chavez over at Sparta AVM, let's talk about how you got into the sport of Muay Thai.
Yeah, so I had a good friend 10, 12 years ago who started doing Muay Thai in Pittsburgh, and I've always kind of been. I played hockey growing up. It was always kind of like a tough sport. I was always attracted to fighting sports. I wasn't the biggest MMA fan knowledge-wise, but I liked watching fighting. I liked watching boxing. He started training Muay Thai, and he kept inviting me, saying, "This is something I think."
Oh, you froze there for a second. Are we back? Uh-oh. Okay, well, who I have here. Oh, are you back?
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what happened.
No, that's okay. You must have been getting a phone call. It happens. When you get a phone call, Skype kind of just freezes you up. So you were talking about your buddy. He kept inviting you to the gym, saying that he thought you could be pretty good at this.
Yeah, he invited me to join him. He thought that I would excel. Life being as it was at the time, it didn't really work. It was something I was interested in but couldn't make happen. I think at that time I was going back to college. I was playing college hockey, and just wasn't in the cards. And finally, after a couple years of doing this and that and trying different things, I had some free time and I signed up for a class. And of course, day one, I was like, "Yep, I do like this a lot," and it kind of snowballed from there. I think immediately I was attracted to Muay Thai specifically. One, because I got into it late and trying to master grappling and striking and all this stuff was not, it was a bit much. I think I was 30 when I started. So that was one thing. Another thing that drew me to Muay Thai was the tradition and I don't know, the history of the martial art itself and the way that it is competed across the world. Kind of the honor and respect that was involved really attracted to me, and I think that also comes from the hockey background, where it's like we're gonna try to kill each other, and then afterwards it's handshakes. We're all on the, we're the same. We're bred from the same cloth. So I was attracted to it immediately, and it definitely clicked right away.
Well, absolutely. 5-0. You're undefeated. And you got an opportunity here to get some gold. And I was doing what research I could, especially not being a Muay Thai guy. And correct me if I am wrong, but you have competed on Lion Fights.
Yeah, that would have been my last fight. Lion Fight 63, also in Cheyenne.
All right, and talk to me about your last fight.
Well, the last fight was against a gentleman by the name of Eric Adams, who trained originally out of Colorado and moved to California, but came back for the opportunity to fight on Lion Fight. And we got the offer. I think it was through the Sparta people who kind of set it up. I think they at the time were helping Lion Fight set that whole thing up. Live events were rare, so they probably saw that they were doing them and contacted them. I'm not sure how that all worked out, but they were able to hook me up with this fight. And when I looked at Eric Adams' record and I looked at his fight videos, I was like, this guy is quite good. I think he had 15, maybe more fights across boxing, MMA, kickboxing, maybe less, somewhere around there, to my 4 at the time. And I said, yeah, no, fighters fight. Let's do it. Who cares? There's not money on the line here, so I don't really care about the record. This is a great opportunity, and get better. So we took it, and it was actually the calmest I've ever been for a fight. No pre-fight nerves. I was like feeling really good. Usually I'm terrified and all nerved up before, and you're trying to clear that up from your head, spending half your time just dealing with that. I had nothing. I felt really good, and then the bell rings, and he touched me, and I was like, oh shit. This guy is very good. I was like, this sucks. And the first 20 seconds of the fight were eye-opening, to say the least. I think that as the fight wore on, I kind of adjusted my expectation from winning the fight to just not getting knocked out. But it was one of those things where I found the button that worked, and I just pressed it until the fight was over, and it was the clinch. I think that he had come from a little bit more of a kickboxing background and hadn't quite trained the clinch the way that my gym does and the way that I have in Thailand and here. And I think I was just able to kind of eke out a points win. He was very tough. I wasn't able to drop him. I wasn't able to stop him. But I think I had a lot of throws and sweeps, and I landed a lot of knees, and I think it was enough, barely to win the fight. But it was a huge learning experience, and I'm really happy that I did it, regardless of the outcome, because it was a wake-up call, and we had to go back to the drawing board for a lot of stuff, which was what I needed. So we became a better fighter.
Yeah, and you also set yourself up mentally, as well as physically. But the more mental side of it is just setting you up pretty good for this fight against Herberto Chavez.
I believe so.
You went in with no nerves, felt good, and then had to overcome some adversity up here and some adversity in here. You came out with the win, so now you know what it takes. And this Sparta company, they put on a really good show. They're not shy about any type of combat sports. They do it all. And we get a real exciting opportunity to showcase some really high level Muay Thai, even at the amateur level. A lot of things that people don't understand with Muay Thai is the Amis, like, since it's so striking based, right? You don't have to worry about takedowns and this, that, and the other. It's so like focused that guys become quite good quite quickly. So when you get to the guys like you, where you're 5-0, or guys that are 7-2, they're already fighting at a pretty high caliber if they're good. You know what I mean? Not guys that are 5-0 are the same. It's just simply not the case. No. But that's something that I found. I have a couple friends that they train in Muay Thai, and they look just as good as the pros that are collecting checks. So, talk to me about Herberto Chavez. What does this guy do well that we got to keep an eye on?
I don't know a whole lot about him. It looks, from the few clips that I've seen, I'm not someone who really watches a lot of tape myself. I'll watch a fight or two, get a general idea, and then I'll leave that to coaches and the trainers to kind of really get into it. Seemed like he was aggressive, game to fight, game to brawl a little bit, quick hands, tough guy. He honestly, it looks like he likes to engage in the clinch a little bit too. Yeah, I mean, he's a lot of pressure. Looked like very, very aggressive. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're probably going to meet that aggression with some aggression yourself. It sounds like.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very entertaining at the very least.
Entertaining is something that you do. That is something that you're very well acquainted with.
I'd like to be that guy. I just want to, I want to have a good fight, and I want people to like it and enjoy it, and that's about all I can ask for,
Okay, and is there any desire to take this to the professional level?
I started doing this with no real expectations, and I kind of have always been whatever happens happens. I'm 35. One of my goals would be to fight in Thailand. I've trained there a couple times, and I didn't get a chance to compete. For a myriad of reasons, but that's one of my goals. And after that, we'll see what happens.
Okay, so just wherever the chips may lay, then.
Yeah, if I get thrown to the wolves and fight on some crazy Jerry Springer-like Thai TV show, I think it would probably be difficult to come back and get amateur fights if that's on YouTube or something. So we'll just have to see. That's how it goes.
Well, lining yourself up with an organization like Sparta, it's a good thing. It's not one of these shows that they take everything very seriously. They do, their media. They're constantly getting their fighters interviews, making sure they're covered with promos, and you know what I mean. They really take care of their guys. It's a top-notch organization.
I've been incredibly impressed from the get-go, and that's before that last fight with Lion Fight. The one before that was the Sparta fight in November, and that was my first experience. I'm from Pittsburgh on the East Coast. I have a friend Chris Arena from Muay Thai of Colorado, who has fought on several Sparta cards. He posted that he was fighting like right at the beginning of the pandemic during the lockdown. The East Coast was cooked; it was completely shut down. And I see that he's competing, and I was just like, Chris, what is this? And he texted me right back, and he said, hey, do you want me to talk to the promoter? I said, absolutely. I'll fly out there, if there's an opportunity to be had, because there was just nothing going on here. And it's like, my life's frozen. I'm not working at the time when this is going on. I'm not, you know what I mean? It's like, well, what else is there? If I can compete, this is the time to do it. I can dedicate all this time. So he set me up with Becca from Sparta, and it's been just wonderful. What a great organization.
Yeah, and they, like I said, they do a lot of groundwork. They do a lot of, muscling on social media, and getting in touch with even setting up interviews with me. I can't tell you how many Sparta interviews I've done, and 9 times out of 10. Maybe even 9.5. I'm not sure, but they're all coming from Sparta. I'm not reaching out to Sparta and saying, "Hey, I want to interview this guy." Right. Shelby sends me a list of names, and we get after it. So I've got absolutely no problem with the way that they go about business, and they're sending me fighters, and we're getting you guys a platform to grow and get used to this kind of work, because when fighters do make it to the big leagues, they're going to be doing this every fucking day.
Yeah, right.
So for sure, I really did what they're doing.
Me too. And I mean, that's how we got hooked up. And that's honestly, I mean, even down to obviously the promotion and everything you're talking about, but even down to the way they run the day of stuff and the way they do the weigh-ins and take care of the fighters and make sure it's fighters first. It's like, it's great. And, I've had maybe 6 or 7 fights fall through because of opponents dropping or the promoter dropping the ball, and just like, train up to a week out and some bullshit happens and there's no fight, and Sparta's just like on top of that stuff, and they're very communicative, and I can text her anytime. It's really it's been great. I really appreciate all the opportunities they're giving me.
Yeah, they've been really fortunate with their roster of athletes that they've had compete for them in the past. They're able to keep fights together, or late notice, get a last minute opponent in just to save a fight, to make sure that have all your training not go to waste.
Right, exactly.
So let's talk about this eternal sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I was listening to you right before we got on with the interview, and how long have you guys been playing, if you're still active and all that stuff?
Yeah, so I think the band started in one shape or another around 2010, 2011. Probably didn't start taking it seriously until 2013, but that was my life there for a while, touring months on months. And that's actually what was one of the things that delayed me being able to even start getting into martial arts seriously. And even when I first trained, the final push was actually a tour manager on a tour we were doing was stopping in every city at the Muay Thai gyms and going and training. And he was like, "Hey, anybody want to go?" So I went and checked one out, and he was like, "You should sign up for this when you get back." And I did. But the first year of training was very spotty for me because I was on tour. I mean, we toured months and months, and then be home for a month, and then out and then home. It was really, really busy. So that kind of slowed my progress at the beginning a little bit. And then, of course, when COVID hit, it's just nothing, no live events. But the band is still technically active. Hopefully here we can get going once everything starts opening up. I think that there's behind the scenes, there's some shows being talked about, and we have a record in the can that's ready to go. So hopefully end of this year, beginning of next year, new music come out, be back on the road a little bit.
Okay, so are you guys actively writing new material?
We're writing a little bit. We have a whole record done, recorded, ready to go. It's just kind of the label was a little bit hesitant to put it out while there was no support shows or no shows to be able to support it on. So I think we're kind of waiting for the right time, but it looks like it's sooner than later now.
Yeah, we completely opened up. We did our release. It was slated for June or July 18th. I think it was July 18th for our sophomore effort, and it got pushed back due to COVID. We had played, I believe, March of last year with War of Ages and Conviction.
I know some of the guys in War of Ages.
Yeah, good dudes.
Yeah.
So we played that show in March, and then, of course, that was the very last show, I think, in our town, and COVID had shut down, and they had to cancel their tour because COVID shut everything else down. And then we were slated to do our release on, like I said, June or July 18th. I can't remember which one. And then we ended up releasing it like late November.
Okay.
And then, with no activity, we wrote almost a whole other record. So we're currently, working on that one. We just wrapped up the second track yesterday. Nice. So I understand what you're saying. It's very consuming. It is difficult to do something like fighting alongside, paralleled with, doing a band, and then you got to factor in, income. So you got to have a job, you know what I mean? That doesn't, if you got a girlfriend, a wife, kids, dogs, you know what I mean? Sorry, they're in here, so they're loud.
Yeah, it adds up. It adds up real quick. That's your day pretty much cooked. Yeah.
Exactly. So how do you balance the two?
Well,
Before the COVID issue.
yeah, it's hard. When I really started competing, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, the band kind of, it was at the end of a record cycle, so it was kind of slowing down a little bit, and I was able to focus on training and getting some fights. And then, I think I fought twice in 2018 and only once in 2019. Part of that was that I was busy. Part of it was a couple fights fell through, but yeah. So it ends up working out. And again, that's why I felt so critical to just compete as much as I could during this period that live events weren't on the table, except for in Cheyenne.
Right. Well, I mean, that's cool that you're able to figure it out. Like I said, balance is sometimes difficult, but you're still able to work it out. That's awesome.
Yeah. Very lucky.
All right. So how many rounds and how long are the rounds? Because this is a title fight, and Muay Thai is not the same thing.
It's a 5x2. So
five rounds, 2 minutes apiece?
Yep.
Okay. And so 5, 2 minutes apiece, 10. In between rounds, is it 1 minute, or do you guys only get 30?
It's a minute, yeah.
So you guys still get a minute? Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Sometimes these rounds, there's a lot of action in these rounds. So getting that full minute's probably feels good to hit the steamer.
Yeah, in amateur Muay Thai is usually always 2 minutes, 2-minute rounds with a minute break. So this will be my first time fighting for a 5, but I think it's, like I said, with the style I fight, I think the extra time is going to allow me to be more patient and to kind of hopefully impose my will over a longer period, and I think that'll benefit my style. At least at the end of my last fight, I was like, I wish I had more rounds to do this. So.
Okay, so is the without giving away too much, but taking this guy deep and drowning him?
That's the plan, yeah.
Okay. Well, you definitely got the skill set to do it, and don't worry, it could end earlier. You could put this guy away with one of the knees. So
Sure.
You've always got that in your back pocket. But I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about Muay Thai. I actually have a buddy that does. Maybe I should start getting more with him when I'm doing Muay Thai interviews. But it's always fun to watch, and the respect and camaraderie is sometimes even more than in the other combat sports, because there's something I don't want to say like ritualistic, but it's more spiritual than any of the other art forms.
I feel like it is, and it's kind of a niche thing too. It's like anybody who's gotten this far into specifically Muay Thai is going to be probably a relatable character. The last 2 gentlemen I fought, Eric, who I spoke of, line fight, and then previously to that at Sparta, I fought a gentleman named Zachariah Kraft, and I speak to both of them still and keep up with them on the internet, and it's all good, They're cool guys. Yeah, a lot of respect.
Yeah, something this all combat sports needs more of.
Yeah, you would think. Unless there's money to be made by being a dickhead, I don't understand it. Yeah. It's just not in my personality, I guess. It's not something also that I have to really summon some sort of thing to be angry, to be violent. That's just right there, so it's okay. I don't need to fake anger or get myself pumped up to be violent. It's just we're good to go whenever. So.
Well, you've been doing violent sports your entire life, so.
Yeah. I think a lot of that comes from growing up playing hockey, and being the style of hockey player I was kind of similar, kind of relentless and nasty. I got my, I'll show you something. Take these out.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Hockey player, what can you do?
Nothing. What you just did.
Exactly.
You know what I
mean? Yeah. I don't know what it is. I keep putting myself in harm's way with all these hobbies I get into, but it is what it is.
I'm the same way. This is probably about the safest hobby I've got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just interviewing fighters and shooting the shit. I got a commentary gig. Like I said, I play in the band. And you're a vocalist, so you understand when you're on stage, you got to watch out for these guys' instruments. I can't tell you how many times I've been cut open, split open, and just bleeding. Like sometimes being in a band is a little bit, more than you would ask for.
Playing an aggressive music. Oh yeah, it's like I'm getting better head movement on stage out there, dodging people's guitars, and I got split open in forget what town in Germany once, and it was like a mess. It was like trying to translate and get it sorted out. It's like fuck.
Damn.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's all been here at home when it happens. So not like at home, but at a venue in my hometown. So it's usually pretty easy to get things sorted out. But in Germany, I couldn't even fucking begin to imagine.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, I got two more things for you. Okay.
Right.
Of course, I'll give you a second here to, do your shout outs, but nobody goes through my show without answering my favorite question. Now, this one is for me. I don't care about anybody else when I ask this. Okay. On the 25th, when Big Mo says your winner is Joe Sanderson, what are you going to be eating for your post-fight victory meal?
Ooh, that is a good question. Well, so the problem is that we're in Cheyenne, so the last couple times it's been the food truck there. It's been right there. The mac and cheese with the pork and the pulled pork in it, it's pretty banging. But as soon as I get back to Denver, I think my buddy's got some pizza and some Thai food lined up, some different spots. We're going to be kind of hitting a little bit of a smorgasbord, I think. I've been dieting. I've been almost in fight camp since like the end of last year. It's been just one after another. So it's going to be a bit of a party with the food for sure.
Absolutely. Well, for me, it's a party every day. Yeah. I don't have to worry about my weight. I don't even care what I look like on camera. So it doesn't matter to me. I can get as fat as I want. Luckily, work keeps me in pretty decent shape. I'm not going to say that I'm fight ready because I'm definitely not. There's a lot of fluff under here, but work keeps me pretty active, so I don't get extremely obese. I like to say I compete at super heavyweight, but I'm willing to cut to heavyweight for depending on the opportunity.
Nice. If I didn't have a goal, that's my one vice. So I'll eat whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too terribly picky. So yeah, I feel that. I feel that right here.
Sometimes I think that maybe my interest in Muay Thai was just to cover the fact that I wanted to go to Thailand and eat Thai food because it's a love affair that probably goes deeper than with the sport.
Well, hey man, I could respect that. I could definitely respect that. And I hope you do get to compete over there in Thailand because it is a personal goal and dream of yours. I hope you're able to accomplish that. Plus, then you get the food right there because you're already there, right? All right, man. Well, go ahead. If you got family, friends, training partners, coaches, just go ahead and take the floor.
Yeah, I just thank you to the gym I train at, SCAN Muay Thai in Pittsburgh. All my coaches and training partners, all the people there. Got a specific shout out to my one buddy who just got to Thailand, and it's closed right now, but hopefully is opening up, and we'll see him on TV here soon. Noah Dumaine shoots. Really awesome fighter, really awesome training partner. Like I said, all my coaches and trainers, and my girlfriend who supports me through all this stuff that I do, and wouldn't be able to do it without her, Ann Elizabeth Grachecki. Yeah, she'll be with me on fight night, as she always is. So.
All right. Short and sweet. You keep the circle tight so you don't have to fuck around with all the bullshit. You can just focus on fighting. I'm with it.
Yeah.
Well, again, Joe Sanderson, you're competing for the 153-pound amateur Muay Thai title against Herberto. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Mr. Chavez at Sparta AVM 12.
12, okay.
Chavez is still the opponent, right? That hasn't changed?
That's as we speak, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm pretty sure one of us would know by now. They're pretty good about
it. Yeah.
So that'll be June 26th, and I'm sure there's a pay-per-view link. Do you have a code?
Sanderson, all caps, SANDERSON. Yeah, that would everyone's checking this out. That would help a lot.
Yep, because pay-per-view buys puts cash in this man's pocket. So if you're going to support this man, that is one easy way to do it. Purchase the pay-per-view, Sanderson in all caps at checkout. Sparta what is it? SpartaSE.com or?
I believe so. Yeah, there's a link on my Instagram. I'm sure that it'll be easy to find.
Okay. So, and go ahead and drop your ad real quick.
It's just Joseph 2_ Sanderson.
There you go. So check it out. Check him out on Instagram. If you need the link, it'll be right there. We'll be seeing this man throw down and look to add another knockout to his resume, going 6-0. I can't wait to see it, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. I can't. All right. Will I be seeing you there?
Unfortunately, no. You see, I was scheduled to be there, and my fucking boss rejected my vacation.
That's horseshit.
Yeah, Sparta had already told me, yeah, come over. We got you covered, this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, all right, cool. And he tells me, you need to put in your vacation. And I'm like, okay, cool. I put it in, and then he fucking denies it.
Yeah, man, bummer. Well, maybe next time down the road.
For sure, for sure. I'm going to try to get out to a Sparta event ASAP because I want to see it in person. Yeah. You know, but don't worry, I'll be getting the pay-per-view, so we'll be checking you out.
Sounds good. Well, I really appreciate this. Thank you a lot for having me.
Hey, not a problem. It's been a blast. Welcome on my show anytime, okay?
Cheers.
All right, man.
All right.